Welcome, everyone, to a special edition of The Safe State. I'm here today with Demas, who is a game programmer for Spatial Ops, a really awesome VR game that I have shown off in multiple videos on the channel. It's not too hard to find because I seem to use it as a testing game for a lot of different things. Demas, I am so thankful that you're able to be with me today to talk about Spatial Ops. How are you doing?
First, thank you for having me, and it's great today because we're still working on that one, and I got to be here to interview with you, tell more about Spatial Ops. So it's a great opportunity. So
yeah, I'm really excited. Like, I really love this game, and I remember when I first purchased the game, going into the campaign, just being honestly blown away at how fun it was. And I love the story. Like, I love everything about it. So I'm really excited to have this opportunity to talk to you. Demas, just to kind of kick us off here today, I was wondering if you could tell us your background. Have you worked at other places? Is this your first place of work? And what drew you to Resolution Games?
Yeah, so my background started as a game developer. At the start, I'm from Indonesia, and then I moved a lot around the company around Southeast Asia. From one game studio to another game studio. And just before I came to Resolution Games, it was COVID-19. I was a gameplay developer in Singapore. I was working on the virtual taekwondo, and then we were using motion capture. It's like, like a fighting game, Street Fighter or Tekken, and except you are using a motion capture instead of like a gaming controller. And then we were using the taekwondo rules, of course, so it's not like a fully fighting. And we were even featured in the Olympic esports series in 2023. And a few weeks after we wrap up the project, it's actually a funny story of how I found out the Resolution Games. I was like scrolling on Instagram, just like scrolling stories, like next, and then somehow ads coming up to my Instagram. And then it's showing me like Angry Birds VR. And then I was like, wait a minute, Angry Birds VR. I've heard Angry Birds before. And then I've never seen Angry Birds VR before.
Yeah.
And then it's caught my eyes. And then I was like, oh, looks cool. And then I look up the company. And then it's like Resolution Games. This company also is the one that made bait. And then I play bait a lot. When I got the first quest, they have this bait embedded in the headset. And then I love the game, and then it's like, I just look at the company more on that one. And I saw a lot of games. They have a lot of, I'm very impressed how creative they are and diverse on their game portfolio. They have not just like one genre, but a lot. And I feel like this is the kind of company that I was looking, because I can't imagine how many a learning and a technical challenge that they have in every project. And then it feels like I need to go here. Like, I want to learn more. I think this is the perfect place for me to level up my skill. And I applied right away and go through all the process of hiring. And then I join, and then I have no expectation what kind of game that I'm going to work on in this company. But I feel like I'm ready for anything. And the first day they gave me this headset, and it's like, let's play this game because you're gonna work on this one. Do you like laser tag? And I feel like, yeah, I play a little bit laser tag. There's not much laser tag arena in my country before, so I don't play much, but I play a little bit, and then paintball too. And I put on my headset, do calibration, and I saw the other person match with the face and character. And I was like, oh, okay, wow, this is interesting. I pick up stuff like guns, grenades, and stuff like that. I was like, oh, this is beyond my imagination. I never expect this. This is interesting project. And I feel like, oh, I'm lucky to be here. It's like, okay, this is a great decision I made. So yeah, so that's I'm very excited.
That's so cool. And you're right. Resolution Games has a wide variety of genres that they make games for. It really is, their catalog is impressive. And Angry Birds is one of the games that I like a lot. That's awesome. That's a really great story of how you came to find them. So you were in Indonesia?
Yeah, or I was in Singapore.
You were in Singapore, that's right. And now you're in Stockholm.
Yeah,
is that correct?
Yeah.
World traveler. You're just all over the place.
Yeah,
that's cool. That's cool.
Yep.
So can you walk us through I know you said that you put on the headset and the game was you were playing like a very early version of what would become Spatial Ops.
Mm.
But could you maybe tell us a little bit about what was the initial spark that led to the creation of the game, or what was its influences? What inspired the team to make this game?
Yeah. So the initial first time, I think it was game jam, internal game jam, and resolution games is like push the boundaries of XR technology, like make any kind of XR games you want in the during the internal game jam. And it's like people make a XR game, and then it was started out aiming to make a AR simple AR shooter, and however after it's like explored the capability of the MetaQuest headset, and the project quickly grew into something more. And Niklas is our creative lead, who has a background as a producer in Battlefield 1942. I think it's the old one. And
Okay.
also he started his own laser tag arena business. And he realized that we could essentially use this MetaQuest to bring laser tag and Battlefield arena experience directly into anywhere, like a player's home or parking lot or everywhere. This become like a primary goal of the Spatial Ops, like to combine the thrill of a competitive shooter with the unique immersion of a mixed reality. And then
Uh-huh.
over the time, the core goal to grew to include more variety of weapons, like a cover, virtual objects, map building tools and stuff, and game modes like domination, capture the flag. So yeah,
Yeah.
the initial inspiration was like just bringing the large scale arena. Yeah, over the time the scope grew. We adding more weapons, virtual camera, virtual objects, map building tools, and more game modes like domination and capture the flag. And the initial inspiration was bringing the large scale arena experience to your home, to players' home,
Yeah.
or anywhere they want to play. So that
Yeah.
was the initial idea.
The multiplayer is very cool. I love the campaign, but the multiplayer is a whole different side of this. It's totally different, and I love how you all have been able to integrate. You can have your home furniture and stuff integrated into the game, and I've only been able to play it in my home. I'm hoping to get some people together to play it in a gymnasium, like in a gym, in a bigger space sometime soon. But I really like the new update and how you've added extra enemy types, weapons, and just different barriers that you can put up. All of that is really cool. And I remember the first time I was playing it with somebody in my living room, and I threw a grenade and it bounced off of one of the barriers and went back behind another one. And I was like, what? Like that is so cool that the physics there are built in like that, and it hits this virtual barrier and bounces off, and just like it would in a video game, but also in real life. And so it's just so neat how you all were able to integrate this technology into the real world and put, again, like you said, push the boundary of XR. I think it's so cool. Just awesome.
Yeah, we also had those kind of, we recently, before we released, we also had those experience, like funny experience where we added the new, like you mentioned, adding new enemy. That's also, we never expect it becomes more fun because we're adding drones, and we were playing like four of us, and then we have in the host setting, we have the feature where you can have permanent death. So you don't respawn when you die. You don't respawn. And then we were playing free for all permanent death, and then four of us, two of them already, like one of our team wins, like kill all the enemy, and then there's one left, which is a drone, and then they are like to hide, and somehow the drone just fly back to my friend's head, and then it's just like die, and then they're like, oh, what? You steal the win. It's like, I've been killing two enemies, and then you just steal the win by killing them. So it's like, this is super fun.
Yeah. The drones are cool. And listen, first time I played the game, I was playing the campaign, and in the campaign, these portals open up. The portals open up to your left or right, or even above you on the ceiling.
Yep.
And I didn't know it was going to open above me, like that shocked me. Like I was expecting it to be around me, but when it opened up above, I was like, oh my goodness, this is so cool. And there were these drones. I started getting hit by something. I was like, where's that coming from? And it was up above. And I look up and I shot one of the drones, and it fell down and hit the edge of the portal and then tilted off and fell down onto my actual floor, you know? And then it exploded, and all of a sudden the speakers in the Quest, like, it put off that high pitched ring, like
Yeah.
that sound effect you hear when you have an explosion in a movie and people can't hear. Like, that's what I was hearing. And I was like, man, they thought of everything. This is so good. This is so cool. All the thumbs up to you guys for the stuff that you've come up with and created. It's just such a good game. Was there ever a personal aha moment from the dev process that made you think people are going to absolutely love this? Like, for me, it was when that drone fell through and landed on the floor. I was like, I have to tell people about this game. I have to make a video about this. So was there a moment like that where you're like, man, people are going to love this, and this is going to change how people play VR or MR, XR?
Well, yeah, that's just actually a tough one because I had so many. I can't even remember the first one. It's like every time we play test, we iterate something, and it's like, wow, this is awesome. This is great. Like, that's so much fun. But I can remember one of them is when we had the recording for a trailer, like a very old trailer. We were like renting a very large scale area with the 2 floors, and then it's like the 2 floors is for spectator. It was me like doing spectator, and then I feel like, oh, this is going to change so much because especially when you have a multi-floor level, you can like simulate or make a scenario of any kind of fantasy you have seen in the movie, like whether you're like playing police or like just a simple battlefield with your friends from the top floor, and then you have sniper or everything that you can have there, a machine gun, and then the people in the ground is just like defending themselves. So it's like, wow, this is awesome. This could be a lot more than just a simple shooter.
Yeah. So the multiplayer works on 2 levels, on 2 floors. You can make it work that way, or not yet?
Technically, it's not like fully support, but you could kind of like out of the box made out of it. Like, we don't like provide every tools to make like a second floor and then make stairs or everything. But some people in the Discord also like just get creative. They made stairs out of the box, simple box in the map editor. There's a lot of video around, and then I love it. Like, people is so creative, and then you can.
Yeah, they are.
Yeah. It's so great.
Yeah. That's cool. I had no idea that people had found a workaround for doing stuff like that. That's really, really neat. Speaking of players and their creativity and stuff, what has the community feedback been like for you all?
The feedback is absolutely fantastic. I mean, I can't thank enough community. I'm actively involved in the Discord channel and then discussing and listening to players when they give it back or they send a bug report and everything. Players post in there or like a showcase a video. Their engagement feels like a fuel for a development team. And then we usually like forward those posting or text to our internal Slack channel or our work channel. So to make like people are happy with our game, and then it's like we are like thrilling with those feedback. I have one the most, I would say, the most encouraging or the most touching for me was like when I hear or read in the Discord channel that they're playing this game with their kids or their partners or family members, and they are creating like a core memory of this together with their family members. And immediately it brings me to like my childhood, where my dad came home with the PlayStation and then played together. Like back then it was like Gran Turismo that I played. It's a racing game. I play with my father, and then it's like this is a similar experience for me as a kid when I was a kid. Like, yeah, it's a core memory to me. And then the player itself, like a very creative, like I said before, it's like constantly pushing the boundary of Spatial Ops. And it's like making something that we never think of. Yeah, those like a multi-floor support thingy, or like they suggesting a co-op scenario arena. Their excitement is like input for us. Like it's to help us create the platform there. Yeah. And so it's so great for me and for the team.
That's cool. That's good to hear. I'm glad people are enjoying it. Would you say that sometimes they even give you guys ideas of things that you could implement? Sometimes their creativity. Yeah.
Yeah. We have like a huge backlog, we have a grand picture of how Spatial Ops is going to be in the future and how we're going to develop this more and more. We have a huge backlog, and sometimes the player give a feedback, and then we talked about that, but it's just not in the priority list. So it helped us to switch the priority between those backlog, between those features, which one is actually needed more for the player and which one is we can wait for later. So it helps a lot to just keep the idea relevant to our players.
That's so great. I think that sometimes developers forget to listen to the fans.
Yes.
Over time, they lose sight of the end goal, and that's to make sure that the fans are having fun in the game. So it's really cool to hear that you guys are listening to the fans and trying to implement things that they suggest or that they think could be better or whatever. So that's awesome. As a fan and as a longtime gamer, thank you for doing that. I really appreciate that. In VR, motion sickness has for a long time been sort of a barrier to entry for a lot of people. A lot of people don't want to play VR because they experience motion sickness. And that's a totally legitimate thing. Some people just are more prone to that than other people. But how does Spatial Ops mixed reality approach? Because even the campaign and the multiplayer are both in mixed reality. How does that approach being able to see your surroundings? How does that flip the script on VR and help people, start to play?
Yeah, the mixed reality itself is significantly help to reduce the motion sickness because it maintains your visual alignment and between the virtual world and your physical motion. So it's helps your sensing to manage those things. And in our arena mode, it's simply just straightforward because you are moving. You're physically moving and running in your actual world while your sense motion and your eyes perfectly synchronized. You move here and then your visual is also moved there. Those kind of things. So Arena does not have much problem with the motion sickness. On the other hand, it's a campaign mode which involves a more complex virtual environment, and we spend a lot of time iterating those and refining the experience. I could pick some of them as we have this iteration with the portal. We changed so much a long time. We changed so much about we're thinking about the shape of the portal. It was sporadically portal and then changed into a cube or a rectangle portal. And then we found something this still create the motion sickness. And then we end up with the square that actually helped on this motion sickness. And then we also iterating on the speed of the portal and the speed, the movement, those stuff, and a frequency of enemy encounter and how many portal opens at the same time when the portal is moving, when your portal or your environment is moving. Those kind of thing we do iteration a lot. And also adding a static object like a portal machine itself and a barrier. It's helping register that the world beyond the portal is moving, but the player and their surroundings remain stable. So that helps on that side, it helps motion sickness. So the combination of seeing your real world anchor, which is the portal and all the static object, and our careful design choice makes the experience far more comfortable than traditional VR shooter. So that's the thing.
Wow. I had no idea that you all put that much thought and that many iterations, before you came up with the final design. That's really interesting to me. And you're right. I think that having that anchor point in the corners with the portal machine in your actual real world environment does help. And I like the circular portal that comes up in that space. And to me, it's like looking through a window. When I'm looking through a window, I'm not out there in that space. I'm in my space inside the house, maybe,
Yeah.
but I can look out the window into the world outside and see different things happening. And to me, that's what this game is like. And I think that helps so much for people that want to experience this technology, but maybe are really nervous about how prone they are to motion sickness. Yeah, I think it's a very
Yeah.
cool thing.
Yeah, it's like you are comparing, you are in the car and you are in the invisible car. That's completely different, because when you are in the car, you don't feel like motion sickness or anything where the car is moving. But if you are in an invisible car and you see surrounding just moving forward and backward, and then you don't see anything static, then you're probably like gonna throw up or something. So that's the idea.
That's true. That's a good analogy. Yeah. Wow. That's cool. So recently, you guys have integrated bHaptics gear into the game, and that just, adds a whole extra layer of immersion into a game like this, especially in multiplayer, where you're running around and trying to, laser tag each other, like you said earlier. How does the haptic feedback elevate the experience in your opinion? And what was the process like? Like, how hard was it to integrate that into your game?
Yeah, so integrating bHaptic is definitely boosting for overall experience. It's like the tactile feedback on your fists or wrists, those feedback you receive, particularly when you got hit, and that adds entirely new layer of the action shooter game experience, increasing the sense of immersion and a consequence where you got hit or you do something wrong. So it's really great. It's really great addition to the experience. Working with them it was great and enjoyable process. It's also kind of funny because they're very helpful and they're very fast respond on helping us. It's very cooperative. It was funny when it was our CEO told me, I think it was in GDC. I don't remember the event, but it was in GDC or somewhere. When he on a flight back, and then we receive an email from the bHaptic. Hello, you got the access of developer stuff here, and this is the SDK, and this is everything. If you need anything help, please please reach back to us. And then my producer is like confused. Wait, does any of us communicate with bHaptic or something? And then the next day, our CEO come to our corner and then telling, oh, we manage, we have a deal with the bHaptic, and bHaptic gonna help us to integrate. Oh wow, that fast! Like before our CEO come back to bring the news, they already like start everything and they support everything, provide everything to us to start the development, and that was really great. So it's just very easy for us to jump in and then do the work and stuff. So they are very supportive, and they're providing all the tools that we need. Also, they also doing the internal testing, which is very helpful for us to iterate the stuff. Like, oh, this feedback need to be more strong, or this is too strong. Maybe move a little bit to the other point and stuff like that. So that iterate and ensure we were bringing the absolute best possible of haptic experience in the Spatial Ops players. It's really, really helpful from them. So it was a great experience. Yeah.
That's awesome. So they like have a team of people that you can call and they can help you, walk you through things that might be confusing or not working right or whatever. Like, so you were working hand in hand with them through that process. Wow. That's so cool.
Yeah.
Was that easy, or was that weird to like suddenly be working with another team that hadn't been working on the game before?
It was easy, especially when they respond really fast. So the communication helps a lot. That's why it becomes very easy, and it's becomes super fun as well, because we can like test it in here as well. So they send us all the device for us to test. So every test, one of us is like fighting each other to use that haptic. Like, who is the next one to use haptic? Because we all want to try those haptic feedback. So it's kind of funny sometimes. Like we just fight to each other. Like, oh, I want to get. I'm touching this for shotgun. This is mine now. So we can get the turn next time we do play test. So
that's funny. I have not been able to try out bHaptics yet. So
Sure.
I'm kind of jealous of you a little bit that you've gotten to play with it so much. That's cool. So you've got the bHaptics vest on, and like you said, even more immersive. It's even more immersive than it was. So you're blending this physical world with these virtual, sensations, these virtual items, these virtual worlds, and putting those two things together to me sounds tricky, right? That sounds complicated, and you've already kind of addressed some of the complications that have come up as you've developed this game. But are there any stories of how you overcame maybe a different technical challenge while you were developing the game in regards to integrating these two worlds?
There is several challenges, of course. There's technical code challenge, and there's another one, like art challenge and design challenge, which probably my artist or the game designer would better to answer this, because we have this like a color and stuff, and how we do the style on the graphic for the campaign environment and stuff like that, etc., etc. So that's another challenge. And on the code challenge or technical challenge, code stuff, it's mostly, one of them is motion sickness that we talk about, and then a seamless calibration for the collocation. Because when we had this early access before in SideQuest, we noticed that the calibration were so clunky. Like people probably stop playing this before even they get into the game. So the challenge was like how we can make the experience very seamless from you start the game to the actual shooting games. Like how the player can just click a menu and then click another button, and then you are in the game. You pick up something, and then it's done. You play with your friends and having fun. There's no more like a step that they need to do to calibrate stuff. Those kind of a challenge things, like how we make stuff in the background for the running in the background to calibrate between a player, the collocation stuff, how the position is synced correctly. That's one of them. And then since we are using Meta Spatial Anchor, so back then the technology was still kind of new, so there's still some bugs and stuff like that. So our challenge is mostly like how we can removing these edge cases so the player will not confused when they encounter one of them, so they know what to do. They will not get frustrated like, okay, I'll quit the game because I don't know what to do. We are trying to make sure that our player does not end up in that situation. So that's one of the challenges. Then there's a lot of edge cases that we need to remove one by one and then handle one by one to make sure the player does not lose. And the other challenge would be probably collocation objects, because we have two modes in the game, and then we're sharing the same object, we're sharing the same weapons, we're sharing the same enemy, we're sharing the same crates, stuff like objects in the game, but they both simulate differently. In the campaign, they are like they are world simulation. Our terms, we call it world simulation, where it's single player and then they stay in their virtual world.
Right.
But in the arena, on the other way, it's a local simulation where we create this local world that to sync each player. So how do I explain this? It's like we create our own local world. So everything that simulate in that local world have to be correctly synced with the other headset or the other player, so they can see the same way, like the same direction of let's say the grenade throw this direction, the other player have to see that in the same direction.
Yeah.
And since the grenade is being shared for those game mode, campaign, and the arena, so the challenge is how to make this sharing objects, but they simulate differently between the mode. So that is one of the challenges. Am I like explaining this technical too complicated?
Yeah, well, it sounds very complicated, and I imagine it would be, because it's like, you brought up Battlefield 1942 earlier in the interview, and when you play in multiplayer on there, everybody's consoles or PC or whatever is loading in the same map, right? Locally on their device. And you have that load screen that loads it in, and then you start playing. But this is this is like that, but also very different from that because everyone's house or everyone's, personal environment is different. That sounds very complicated to me. But you all have, like you said early on, the technology was still really new. So I think it was in beta for a while. I think it said multiplayer beta or something like that in the menu for a while when the game first came out. Is it out of beta now?
Actually, no. We still iterating the technology because our goal is to make this first is as agnostic as possible. So any kind of headset. So we're trying to eliminate the dependencies on a specific headset because right now it's only MetaQuest.
Yeah.
And then we recently released a new technology, or well, we call it technology maybe. For a collocation using Aruko marker, where any kind of headset technically can have this collocation by just you looking at the marker you put on the wall, and then boom, you collocate with your other player, and then other player just scanning the marker, and then you get the position sync, those kind of things. So our goal is to make it as less dependencies to a specific platform and also as stable as possible.
Yeah.
As soon as we eliminate those two, then this will be out of beta, because that's the only struggle we have, where a few people still having a problem with syncing their headset in the collocation.
Gotcha. Well, best of luck to you all figuring all of that out. That's way above. I wouldn't be able to figure it out. That's way above my head. I'm not that smart. So you all are doing some crazy stuff over there. It's really cool. Next question. Let's see here. All right. So which came first, the campaign or the multiplayer?
It was the multiplayer. So like I said, we initially start with the simple AR shooter. So it's a multiplayer AR shooter concept, and it evolved into like a multiplayer battlefield and laser tag experience where you can play anywhere, at home or on the go, everywhere. You just set up, and then we're releasing that early access in the side quest. If you have heard the news before, like way back then, we released this prototype in early access on side quest, and we saw a great traction with the players and media. This is great stuff and an innovative gaming, and some awards. We got some awards as well during that time. However, we quickly realized that collocation multiplayer mixed reality was still like a niche market. Many people were just beginning to grasp the concept of a mixed reality. I think it was 2023, I think, if I remember correctly. And the crucial part is that this Spatial Ops needed friends or family to enjoy the full experience of Spatial Ops. And then we realized if we're gonna make this as a full product, we probably need to think about how we introduce this innovative concept to a new player, to player that never play mixed reality or even never play VR headset. And then we are trying to remove the initial border of needing another player to enjoy the game. So that's how the solo campaign start, like how the idea of the solo campaign. We want the campaign to slowly introduce it to new players, including those VR players, without needing a second players to play with, and without needing a huge space to play the arena. They can just play in their bedroom or in their kitchen or everywhere, a small space, and then they pick up the gun. And then they play, the games, and then they can understand the mixed reality, how the virtual environment and blend with your real world and stuff like that. So
okay, yeah, I think that was a great idea. Like I said, I played the campaign first. I definitely lean more towards solo play than multiplayer. That's just me. I like playing games by myself, but the multiplayer is so good. And like I said, I don't think I said, I played it with my brother-in-law. We had an awesome time. We have an awesome time when we play it. But the campaign I played first, and man, I really liked the story. I adored the whole thing. It was just like, I don't know, I just thought it was really fun, and I hope that there will be some kind of sequel eventually someday to the campaign, because I thought it was just so fun. Like the boss fights, it's hard to explain because it's not it's sort of on rails. It's sort of like an on rails shooter, but you can move around. Like in an on rails shooter, you can't move. The camera's fixed. But in this, you get to kind of move around inside that square between the portals, and you can hide behind, these barriers will come up and you can hide behind them, and then duck out and fire your pistol or whatever at the enemies or the drones or whatever. And it's just fun. And like, I remember, that top portal opening up in one level, and there was fire coming down through it.
Oh yeah.
And I had to crouch down, like to not take damage. And I was like, this is just so cool. This is genius. So yeah, I definitely hope for a sequel to that someday.
Yeah, I will note that.
What?
I will note to that. I will note to that, and I will slide that note to my game designer, so they will pick it up.
Yeah, I'm being so serious. I would love to see it. Like, it's a cool. I think it's a cool start to something that could be, an IP, like a franchise. So I would love. Yeah, that would be really awesome to see a continuation of the story. So, what do you say? What would you say the greatest lesson is, or like your greatest point of growth that you've experienced personally while making Spatial Ops?
I would say, well, probably this is only personal with me, but I would say it's the teamwork internally, teamwork and the communication. Because we have this quite short amount of time and limited resources since the release of a side quest into a release product of the Spatial Ops. I think it was like about one year and a half. And we basically have to rebuild the code base gradually because it was a prototype game and we hit so much limitation from that. So we had to rebuild the code base to complete all the 7 levels of campaign and multiplayer arena experience as well. And we end up redefining scope a few times because we start with a very big ambition to have more than the 7 levels. There was a time where we thought we could deliver like a 10 levels even. You probably will be happy with that, more than 7 levels. Because if I'm going back into the project right now, I still can see those folders of more than 10 levels. There is a folder, 12 folders of level 0, 1 to 12. 10 of them is a campaign. 2 of them is another level that is we strip down the mode. We remove the scope of that.
Like a bonus mission.
Yeah. Well, I don't know if I can say this. Unfortunately, maybe it's still a secret. There is a 2 level that outside the campaign. But this was during the development when we explore stuff, when we iterating with the game mode and stuff. So there's still a lot more than 7 levels, I can tell you. When we start,
you've got a jump start on the sequel. Then that's what I'm hearing.
Yeah. And the key is to communicate. Like I said, the communication is very important across department, and make sure no one is blocked with anything. And we can deliver in time. So without good communication, that's why we redefining the scope a few times. And when we say, this is not possible within our time, we probably have to remove one of the level, and we modify a little bit the narrative and story to make sure it still makes sense across the level, 7 levels. And then we did that, and then we end up with 7 levels, and also making the scalable tools as soon as possible for designer. That's very helpful for the designer, for the game designer especially, so they can start experimenting with stuff, with the level and everything, while we are still improving the tools based on their requests. I remember a first 6 months of development is just like every week the designer is just like send a card like, I need this, please adding a new feature to these tools because we need it. Okay, so every week is almost like a new feature that they request, and then if we don't have a scalable tools, then that's probably going to be very difficult to improve and then to cater there. their needs to
Yeah.
experiments with the game design. So those things, it's in my personal lesson.
When you say scalable tools, what does that mean for us that aren't in
Okay.
game development? What does that look like?
It means like when we build a system, we're building a system or tools. We need to keep in mind that these are flexible to add stuff in the future. So we add tools for a wave manager, because the campaign basically is a wave between wave
Right.
after wave game.
Yeah.
So we were building this wave manager tools for the designer to add stuff, to add event every single wave, whether it's like helicopter show up or a plane playing a sequence or playing a cutscene where you see the train flip over on top of your
I
head.
love that. I love that part, by the way. It's so cool.
Those kind of things we need to keep in mind, that when we build, because we need to, since the timing is very short, I think we only have a month to build the tools for everything that is going to be in the campaign. So during that 1 month, I need to think that, make sure when I create these tools, I can add anything that designer can think of to that tools. Like in the future, they might want to add animation. So how do I make these tools to be applicable for designer to add animation to this wave manager? So it's not only a spawning enemy, but also adding animation or adding sound or adding, basically anything to that
So
one.
it's flexible to be able to
Yes.
do more than one thing.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because the main thing was like enemy spawning. The main of a event is like enemy spawning every wave. But how do we make it flexible enough to not just enemy spawning, but also any kind of stuff that designer can think of? So those kind of things.
Like maybe your enemies each shout something differently, or they run a little differently than one another. Like the animation's different, so you build a way for that to happen within the tool.
Yeah,
is that what you're saying? Yeah. Okay.
Yes.
So so just a little bit ago, you mentioned that you had the prototype game, and then you had to start from scratch. Basically, you had to recode everything for the game. Is that kind of why? Because you needed to rewrite the tools so they were flexible. Is that part of that? So it was scalable, like you said.
Yeah. We need to rebuild the tools because of that. Like, because we start the side quest version, the prototype version is only for arena mode, and then when we saw that limitation, this is impossible to make campaign with this, because like I said before, I mentioned before, like there's a two simulation, world simulation and local simulation for a collocated game. And then we noticed that every object here is a local simulation for a collocated game. This is impossible for a single player campaign mode. So those kind of things, that is one of the limitation that, this need to be rebuilt, the code base. We need to rebuild them gradually, not like completely, because we want to make sure that we still have a progress on delivering a new feature, a new stuff to the game, but also repairing or fixing stuff that limit us from doing stuff. So if that makes sense.
Okay, cool. Talking about all this behind the scenes stuff that you're talking about, for anyone who's listening who might be an aspiring game developer or game programmer, what's one piece of advice that you would give them based on your journey with Spatial Ops?
I would say one of the most important advice is listen to your players and discuss with them, because it's very crucial to maintaining a reality check on your grand vision of your game. Like I said, we have huge roadmap and a massive backlog of ideas, and it comes from everywhere. Even programmer in our team can also write an ideas and then put it there in the backlog, or an artist or community manager even. If they like something, let's add a pigeon or something to the game. So those kind of things, we have a lot of stuff in our plans, but it doesn't mean all those stuff are always relevant right now. That's why you need to listen to your players, so you can give a reality check, and also making sure which one is a relevant right now. And yeah, like I said, listening to players is help us to prioritize which feature are truly needed and should be done immediately or soon, and what can wait for a little bit until yeah, the next release or something. And avoiding over engineering, that's also help us when we listen to players, it helps us to avoid over engineering. We have this case where we have a question before, like why domination game mode has the lowest number of play in our arena mode. Is it because people don't know they exist, or don't know the other game mode than free for all is exists, or it's just simply because people enjoy other modes more? And then it becomes like, how do we solve that? Low numbers. Do we need to introduce the other mode? Because in arena, when you play arena the first time, you only get the free for all. And then, so that's why we have a question. Is it because of this one? Because they don't know other free for all exists, or because something else? So, or do we need to focus on the mode, that the game mode that people love the most, or do we need to introduce, like I said, do we need to introduce the game mode? So that's those kind of to avoid us over engineering stuff, and so we can answer first before we do stuff, so we don't do over engineering on the problem. And I would say the last one would be understanding the behavior of the player. Player feedback and the data show us the reality, how the game is being used by them. Some of us couldn't imagine how the user is going to use our map editor before. Like probably, well, we were thinking probably just simple map in their house or in the backyard, until we've seen in the Discord channel that we have seen like how massive they are using the map editor. Some of them is even like map out their entire house with our map editor, like changing their floor with the bricks floor, and then changing their wall with the West Wild team, those kind of thing, and adding pigeon and stuff like that. And some of them even build a clubhouse in the with using our map editor. And then there was one video that they're building a clubhouse, and then they're making a scenario of agent that entering a clubhouse of enemy and then of a bot, and it's like there's a bouncer. Wow. The enemy is a bouncer of in that clubhouse. So it's kind of funny when we saw how players use our game. It's super. It's super. I don't know how to explain, but it's just like it's giving us excitement, I think. Yeah. There's one of them like making tower defense, huge tower with a sniper on top and stuff like that. What? It's so cool.
Man, I had no idea. I'm like you said, I'm just making like simple maps. I'm throwing up a few barriers and some spawn points, and I'm like, let's play. But that's amazing. Wow. I mean, wow. Okay. So I have two thoughts. Just going off of what you just said. One is, and maybe you can't answer this, or maybe y'all haven't thought of this, but will there ever be a way to like share maps that you've made with other players?
Yes. Right now we don't support them out of the box, but technically every map is stored in your headset, and then you can see through the file, and the file name is your map name that you put in there, and you can technically just share in Discord, and then people download it and then put it in your headset. So that's and then one of our user even make a server, their own Discord server, just to post all the maps.
Really?
Yeah, and then people just pick it up if you want to play. So it's the community is awesome.
Wow. Okay. My other thought was, have you all considered adding like a 2-person co-op into the campaign?
We do. We thought about that. Well, like I said, we have so many thought, but this doesn't necessarily mean we are working on it. It's just like we have discussion, like a co-op or even multiplayer online arena, or a campaign co-op and stuff like that. We do have thought about that, but then we do have like a prioritize the backlog based on the players' requests and the grand vision, those kind of things. So yeah, that's all I can say.
That's fine. All right. Here's a question for you, Dimas. If you could play Spatial Ops in any real world location, where would you where would it be, and why would you want to play there?
One location, or can I pick 2 or 3?
You can pick 2, sure.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, because I have so many imagination. One of them would be on a train. That would be awesome.
Okay.
Because I love this action movie. And then where you have this in the situation where you're cornered and then you have to clear them.
Yeah.
In the very short space, and you see the train is still moving and stuff like that. So it's like in the movie, you know.
Would you want to play like car to car to car till you got?
Yeah, that's one of them. So it's like I'm just moving with the gun, and it's like, let's go move to another car and then see what's in there, what enemy in there. So that's one of them. On a train, that would be awesome. Also, like train level in the campaign is also one of my favorite, because it feels like you are in an action movie, those kind of thing.
Yeah.
The second would be like a multi-floor apartment building. So I would say I'm the nerd, and I'm one of the nerds. Like, I love watching Law and Order TV show, if you know that.
Yeah.
And sometimes they have this police action scene where you like going through a building just to go, and I love that. I love to role play as that, like knocking the door. And it's like, open the door, NYP, and stuff like that. I love that. It's like, I want to simulate those kind of scenario in the building, and clearing room by room and floor by floor, and throwing probably a flashbang or grenade to a room to kill all the bots and stuff like that, and then going vertically up. That's although I would say, unfortunately, Spatial Ops or even MetaQuest, I don't think it's support like a multi 10 level floor building.
Yeah.
I think it's
but maybe someday.
Yeah, someday I would love to. Hopefully someday they would support like a vertical floor level building, and then that would be blow my mind.
Yeah, playing through like a staircase sequence, you know, like in some movies where you're going up or going down either way. That would be cool. That would be cool. Yeah. You need to be in shape though, if you're doing all those stairs while you're.
Yeah, of course. Of course.
Very, very cool. Those are both really good ideas. I like it. I like it a lot. Closing out here, my last question for you, Demas, is: are there any teasers of upcoming features or expansions or games, anything that you might be able to give us a hint at, or maybe there's a sequel somewhere being developed, or just anything that you can share with us? And maybe you can't. I don't know.
Yeah. My marketing team have sent me a note. It's like, make sure, careful. But all I can say is we're still working in the game, and we're still delivering new feature to the next update. And keep an eye on join our Discord server, because our community manager is I would say very funny, because she likes to give a teaser to players and on every update that's gonna be on the next update. So keep an eye on that, and I'll make sure the game is still in work, and then we're gonna deliver a new release later in the future. That's all I can say. So yeah.
Okay, cool. Do you have any closing thoughts or anything else you want us to know about the game before?
I would say I'm very excited for the future that's going to hold with the MetaQuest mixed reality and stuff like that, especially when they have this the new technology like spectacles. What I could imagine is maybe the headset going to be much lighter and much easier to get, and then people just play mixed reality or Spatial Ops anywhere at any time. Like, just click, and then you get the environment ready for you to play.
Yeah. So,
those kind of feature, like in the movie, like Ready Player One, and those kind of movie. It's really, it's an imagination that I could think of will be happening in the future, and probably soon. So very exciting into the future.
The new Meta Ray-Ban display glasses. I mean, it's pretty cool stuff that they've got developed there, and it's going to be interesting to see where they take it in the coming years. Yeah, for sure. Demas, thank you for your time today and for talking about Spatial Ops with me, and just letting me nerd out a little bit with you today on the game, because man, I'm telling you, it's one of my favorites on the Quest. And so for all of you all watching, make sure you at least go click. I'll have a link in the description. Click there, look at the game, watch the trailer, look at the screenshots, see if it's something for you, because, well, I'm just going to tell you, it is something for you. It's something for everybody, I think, because it, like we've been talking about, it's not something that's makes you prone to motion sickness. It's just a fun game, and you can play it with your friends and family. You can play it solo campaign. You can even play the multiplayer by yourself, can't you? Like, just add the bots in there and play it by yourself if you want to. So there's a lot of ways to enjoy the game. I think it's totally worth it. But thank you, Demas, again for being with us for this special pre-recorded episode of The Save State. Stay kind and encouraging out there, and we'll catch you on the flippity flip.